Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Coffee and Football. I'm your host, Blake Monroe, where I'm joined each and every day by Bobby Burton, who should be back here in a second, and Jerry Hamilton. Got the shades on as Texas still ranked number one, of course. So, yeah, good stuff there. But, hey, we are 23 days away now from kickoff, so be sure to tell us who your favorite number 23 is. And we'll talk about that here in a little bit. Also, be sure to tell us where you're checking in from, what you're drinking, and get your questions in. Now, with that said, guys, Texas, some news, I guess more for the players than anybody, but they got some new lockers yesterday, locker room, I guess I should say, yesterday. And I want to play y'all a couple of clips of that. I got two of them here. So,
yeah, they started the renovations after spring practice. All the guys moved their stuff out of the locker rooms last year to start this renovation. And, yeah, I mean, look, it looks like a Vaughn Lane bus, Bobby, is what it looked like to me. That was my first thought. My second thought was, does anybody miss the old Tom Herman sledgehammer days at Texas football? I don't think I do. Looks like a Vaughn Lane bus ride.
It does not look like the old Tom Herman. Yeah, there's no what is that? The yellow, the highlighter yellow shirt that he had on with the orange hard hat bursting through everything. Looks good. Definitely a different level these days in Austin. I remember when it was just wood paneling and that was it. A couple of hooks. That's different days and times nowadays in the multi-billion-dollar sport that is college football.
Hey, look, it's the facilities race. You call it an arms race, whatever you want to call it, but it definitely matters. It pops in recruiting. It pops in, just the overall attention your program gets, the level it's at. When all these people do stories that rank programs, they rank them through the success on the field, the facilities, the conference room, all this stuff. I was part of one of those, a story like that at ESPN back in the day, and we kind of had 6-7 categories, and we ended up ranking the college Power 4 programs off of that. So it matters nowadays. As y'all can see, but still, Bobby's having some connection issues this morning, so he's going to have his thoughts come in and out of today.
Yeah, that's okay. Well, hey, Jerry, practice resumes this morning here in just a little bit.
Yeah, practice resumes this morning. Sark obviously met with the media a couple of days ago following practice. Wednesday was the off day. Obviously, that's coincides with them moving back into the new locker room. But practice back on the field today. They have Thursday, Friday practice, and Saturday scrimmage as well. And that will kind of wrap up the week for Texas. But this is, I think, now we're at the point where this starts to get real in terms of Texas staff having a real good look and feel after Thursday, Friday practice, Saturday scrimmage, where some of these guys are at in terms of building out a depth chart potentially headed into the following week, Bobby. This is a big Thursday, Friday practices and Saturday scrimmage because this staff is getting closer, I think, to kind of having a pecking order, depth chart, whatever you want to say about, whatever you want to call that, headed into the last 2.5 weeks of practice before the Ohio State game.
I completely agree. First of all, sorry for my Wi-Fi problems this morning. I cannot figure them out at times. I would say that, Jerry, you're on target with what this week is. We have to remember that what Steve Sarkisian said not right before camp. Look, about 2 weeks in, we're going to start concentrating on Ohio State. So they've got, or with 2 weeks to go, we're going to concentrate. So they've got this week and Saturday's scrimmage, and then a week from now, another Saturday scrimmage, and then it's on to Ohio State. So the next 10 days, 11 days is absolutely going to be a situation where Texas is going to have to figure it all out. From a pecking order perspective. The key battle, one of the key battles right now that I would qualify as a battle is the backup quarterback spot. And I got a little intel on that yesterday. Texas sees it as a two-person race right now, clearly with Trey Owens battling Matthew Caldwell, the transfer from Troy. We've talked about this going in, and it continues now. Owens is the more talented of the two. There's no question about that. He's bigger, got a bigger arm, maybe a little bit better ball spotter at times, can fit things into narrow windows. At the same time, Caldwell's a little bit more polished, I guess is the best way to put it. So he's more exacting in his handoffs and his fakes and all the little things that it takes to be a quarterback. That's where Trey Owens needs to match him. Owens has also been a guy that has thrown some interceptions in this camp, whereas Caldwell's not been unintercepted. It's just Owens probably thrown a couple more. We'll see what this means. I really believe this, Jerry, and we talked about it going in. I think this quarterback battle, if Caldwell wins it as a backup, this quarterback battle will go on throughout the season because Trey Owens is the more toolsy of the guys. And furthermore, at Ohio State, if you have to go to a backup, do you want to go to a guy that's never taken a meaningful snap in a college football game? Or do you want a guy that started 5 games, the last 5 games of his season last year at Troy? And so that is one of the big ones. I think that cornerback is a big one right now. Jalen Gilbo trying to hold off Kobe Black probably. Some other issues at nickel with Michael Taft, seeing a lot of time there. But really right now, I think the biggest one is backup quarterback. Because I think it's going to be a big choice. Sark has not had a quarterback make it through his entire season at Texas unscathed. Yeah. So that is a bigger deal than what most people would necessarily agree with.
Yeah, no doubt. And by the way, on KJ Lacey, the plan's always been the red shirt.
Yes.
That doesn't mean he's not doing well or Texas doesn't love him. The plan's always been the red shirt him. But yeah, look, I think at any point this season, if Arch has to exit a game, I think Matthew Caldwell is your answer this season in games. Okay. I mean, hey, same thing for on the road at Florida, same thing in the Cotton Bowl, same thing at Georgia for me. It's just, and that's not a knock on Trey, but that's why he was brought in. And if Arch has to exit a game for any extended amount of time or miss a game, I think Matthew Caldwell's your guy.
I think it could go. I'm a little different. I think that as the season goes on, if Owens and he may match him before this now, so I'm not saying that Caldwell's for sure the guy. If Owens can match that quick footwork that Caldwell is showing and some of the exacting aspects of it, I think he could take over before the end of the year. So that's my thought process.
All right, before we move on, Bobby, I need you to tell everyone this morning about the good folks at Vaughn Lane.
Yes, I can do that, Blake. I appreciate it. You've got to get from one city to another. And like always, it's a toss-up. Do you deal with the airport and hope your flight isn't delayed, or do you brace yourself for hours behind the wheel, battling traffic and burning a day? Now there's a third option, and it's better than in every way. That's Vaughn Lane. You arrive at a luxury hotel terminal, no TSA lines, no long-term parking, just a seamless boarding experience that takes minutes, not hours. You settle into a plush leather seat, a hot towel, pillow, blanket, all at arm's reach. Your attendant offers complimentary snacks, beverages, and on select trips, a full meal. If you need to relax, lean back and enjoy the ride. If you want to stay productive, there's high-speed Wi-Fi and power at every seat. While you're unplugging or powering through, the Vaughn Lane team is monitoring traffic in real time using smarter routes and efficient detours to keep your trip smooth and on schedule. And now is the perfect time to plan your fall travel. Booking is open. You can go to ACL. There's Texas OU game. A number of different things going in and around Texas. Vaughn Lane serves Austin, Dallas, Houston, Fort Worth, San Antonio, and in the Southeast, Atlanta, Nashville, Memphis, and now Knoxville, as well as Plano in Texas and Houston. Visit VaughnLane.com. Use code OTF25 to save $20 on your first ride. Vaughn Lane, elevated regional bus transportation.
Hey, I think we have a new record here for youngest OTF viewer. Jonathan Bonds says, "My name is Jackson, and I'm 9 years old, and I can't wait to go to the Texas A&M game."
Well, he must have seen that video of Marcel Reed throwing dimes yesterday. Then
he missed a few on that, didn't he?
Or Terry Bussey's lackluster route.
Off-season work there. Jonathan, thank you so much for joining us. I was a young Longhorn fan myself, so I feel it, buddy. Welcome to the show.
You know what's crazy? Like 12 years ago, if we'd had this channel, Arch Manning would have made that post. You know,
Jonathan, you're only 12 years away, man.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, next, let's talk a little recruiting this morning. Jerry, what do you got for us?
Yeah, so we're 5 days away now from Jake Krell as announcement day. Here's some Jake
Sorry about
Krell.
the audio.
Whoa, we've seen this before. Backflip on Ojo. Jake Krell is going to announce his decision in 5 days on August 12th. He of the backflip. He'll probably stop that in college, by the way. But Jake Krell, we believe Texas continues to be the favorite over Oklahoma and Ole Miss. He's out of Orlando. I believe he would have started his high school career at Bishop Moore. It may have been First Academy, but he's transferred over to IMG. This will be his second year at IMG Academy. 6'2", 225 pounds. He comes in the college as a designated pass rush guy that's going to have to fill out that frame. Frame very similar to Trey Moore is what he's got. He's seen him in person. Frame very similar to Trey Moore and where he'll probably go. He'll probably be a 6'2" and change, 245, 250-pound guy. But similar arm length to Trey Moore, just so y'all have a visual of kind of what he looks like and what he potentially will look like. I think that's a really good physical comp for Jake Krell, but one of the top edge rush prospects in the country in 2026. Should Texas, the F game, the should game, should Texas land Krell in 5 days, the class will be ranked number 3 or 4, depending on all the different ranking services, how they calculate it. But it's going to be firmly in the top 5 if Krell picks Texas on the 12th. Bobby,
21 current commitments. 3 of those, you got to remember, are specialties. They're specialists. Yep. Deep snapper, kicker, punter. You will go up as you will add points in those rankings as you take those specialists off your list. Essentially, they only, I think one only takes like the top 18 players, another takes the top 20. So as you'll gain more points, and I think Texas is still the highest rated team with the lowest number of commitments nationally. So Daryl Klein, I started longhorning at 8 years old. There's a lot of people like that. Now 71, 1962 is my first year. Hook'em.com. There we go. Hook.
Okay, well, one other thing that I wanted to discuss this morning before we get into some questions and super chats is other teams, actually. More of an SEC injury report, as there's been quite a bit of news, and we'll talk Ohio State after that. But, Jerry, I'm going to let you start with the SEC part of it.
Yeah, so first we'll start with a Texas opponent, Florida. There's been a lot of talk about Lagway, but, look, the injury bugs hit their receiver core. And this is a potentially major thing for Florida, especially where Texas is at on the schedule with Florida. So Eugene Wilson missed the majority of last season with, I think, an arthroscopic knee scope, and he's a stud. I mean, like I saw him in high school, and I thought that guy will be an NFL slot receiver in the NFL. Was off to a really good start at Florida. Then last year had the knee injury. Now I think he's been held out with potentially a hip injury. So how long he's going to be out, somebody in the chat may have read that. But then Dallas Wilson, the 5-star freshman receiver, had a tremendous spring and was off to a really good start and looked like a future star for the Gators. He goes down with a knee injury yesterday, and the initial report is several weeks. Well, several weeks could lead him to potentially missing the Texas game. And that's 2 of their top 4 talents at wide receiver. The addition of J. Michael Sturdivant out of the out of the portal, a kid from Flower Mound, Marcus, who is 6'3", 210 and can run like the wind. He's a jet. They had a potential, the makings of a really good wide receiver core. Guys with vertical ability, Sturdivant, Dallas Wilson, a slot guy in Eugene Wilson that is really, really talented. As a slot receiver, he's got a lot of stop and start to him. I call him a poor man's Jalen Waddle as a compliment coming out of high school. But now those injuries are kind of mounting up at the wide receiver position for Florida. We'll see how long those guys are out and how that could potentially impact the Texas-Florida game down the line. Dallas Wilson, they're saying several weeks right out of the gates. That could be a potential issue for Florida, especially with timing of him playing, getting reps in games on Saturday, reps with DJ Lagway, who was very limited in spring practice and has been limited here again to start fall camp for them now back on the field. Then the other news, obviously, in the chat, I'm sure Garrett Nussmeier goes down at LSU practice. And, you know, we're going to, my way around now, so we're going to talk about Ohio State coming up and kind of their team, some reports on them. But Nussmeier goes down yesterday at practice at LSU. The initial reports are saying everything's going to be okay. We'll see if it is or if it isn't. If he's wearing a heavy knee brace or something this season, it will affect him somewhat. So some injury news in the SEC there. Florida Gators wide receiver core is taking a couple of hits right now. We'll see how long those guys are out, because that definitely will impact Florida's offense in their season if both those guys are out for an extended amount of time.
Yeah, Dallas Baker, you said several weeks. I think it's 8 weeks I'm counting between now and when Texas would play them. So several sounds like 5 or 6, maybe 8. Maybe he's back that week or the week before. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. The Eugene Wilson injury is interesting. The more interesting part for me, guys, yesterday with Garrett Nussmeier was the overreaction to it and the quickness for the media to latch onto a story that, oh my goodness, Nussmeier is out. You know, he got injured at practice. Oh no. And then within an hour, people are like, he's fine. Now he was injured at practice, but it's not this, he's going to be out for the season type of injury that people were perpetuating or talking about online. So that'll be interesting to see exactly what that means for him. But I think that Florida is still going to have receivers. I think that LSU is still going to have a quarterback. So we'll see where it goes.
Hey, the interesting thing on Nuss is, and I'm not saying he is seriously hurt or isn't, but it was awfully quick for the LSU to have their people that cover LSU to come out and say, "Oh, everything's fine." Well, how do you know that? You haven't done an MRI. You haven't done any. I mean, you haven't had time to do all that. So it kind of went both ways. It was pretty interesting. Yes, Oklahoma does have some injury issues. I'm not sure any of those are major issues. Just got some guys sitting out of practices and some. So Texas has had those as well. But that'll be interesting. But with Florida, yeah, I don't know. Dallas Wilson missing. If he misses the first 5 games of the season, 4 games of the season, I mean, he's going to lack. I mean, that's their 3 starting receivers are projected to be Wilson, Sturdivant, and Eugene Wilson. Aiden Mazelle's a talented kid that's a redshirt sophomore for them as well. The other freshman, Vernell Brown, I saw him in high school, went to the same high school as DeAndre Robinson. That kid's got a chance to be a really good player too. But they said that Dallas Wilson, if he's out for an extended period of time, what Florida wouldn't want is his first college game to be against a Texas, right? So it'll be interesting to see how long he's out as there's more known about him. But again, everything that's for Florida that's been interesting to me is Lagway being limited in the spring hurt him having the reps with Dallas Wilson, Sturdivant, and Eugene Wilson back on the field. Now you're in the fall camp. Dallas Wilson's now hurt. Eugene Wilson's hurt. There may be a lack of timing and reps for quarterback and 2 of the top 3 receivers on that team. So we'll see how it affects them, because the thing about Florida is it's pretty tough out of the gate for those guys. I mean, they go to Miami. That's a big, big game because Miami beat the out of them last year. So it's going to be interesting to see, because Billy Napier's not out of the woods as far as job security goes.
Well, up next, let's talk a little Ohio State quarterback competition. Of course, ongoing there. Yesterday, Ryan Day comes out and says the competition continues. They both have had good moments and moments where they're growing. I will say I've been pleased with the progress. It's going to go right down to the wire. The positives of having a competition is that, every day you got to bring it. The guys are always on edge. They're uncomfortable. They're working at it. I think that's healthy for the entire building.
Fair enough. The two candidates, by the way, are Julian Sayin and Lincoln Kleinholz. Sayin is a somewhat younger guy. Kleinholz, a little bit older. Kleinholz, by the way, I would add this, a little bit more stocky, a guy that can run the ball a little bit. Sayin is a true drop back passer. Not unlike Quinn Ewers in some ways, in my opinion. Still early in his career. He is a true, I guess he's a redshirt freshman right now, but he signed initially with Alabama and then transferred when Kalen DeBoer got the job at Alabama up to Ohio State. We'll see which way that battle goes. They've certainly got the receivers, Blake, because we were talking about it this morning in the pre-show discussion, and you said that 3 of their guys were named to the Biletnikoff Award watch list.
Yeah.
Not 1 or 2, but 3. So they don't just have Jeremiah Smith, who everybody knows.
Yeah, my take on the QB competition is it's much like Quinn Ewers and Hudson Card was at Texas. It was a competition to keep somebody from transferring and keep a guy locked in. Now, I do think the difference is they could have a package for Kleinholz in the run game, in the QB run game. That's where I think the difference potentially is, but I don't look. Maybe I'm totally wrong. I don't think there's a competition there. I've seen this dance before.
Could be. No, it could be. Could be.
Yeah. Also worth noting that defensive tackle Edric Houston has returned practicing for the Buckeyes. He got injured last week, guys, and expected to be a starter against Texas here in a few weeks.
For those that don't know who he is, he was a 5-star out of the state of Georgia, out of Buford, a really talented player. Really, that was a huge recruiting win for Ohio State. You didn't see much of him last year because they had NFL ahead of him. But Edric Houston's he should be a future draft pick one day. He is a really talented player and got lucky. He got lucky. They thought that might have been a bad one, but he got lucky and he's back out there for Ohio State, which is good. Texas want to play their best. By the way, 2 freshmen from the state of Texas, Bobby, doing well at Ohio State. One's doing exceptionally well, Devin Sanchez. You heard behind the scenes that Devin Sanchez has a chance to be one of the.
I was told
be a Jeff Okudah level player at corner for Ohio State or better.
They're in love with Devin Sanchez. Of the 4 guys, so Ohio State does this weird thing. I shouldn't say weird, unique. How about that? Where they remove black stripes from the helmets of freshmen as they earn their stripes, so to speak. 2 of the 4 guys that have earned their stripes are true of the true freshmen are Texans. Devin Sanchez, the corner out of North Shore, is one. He is expected to play against the Longhorns, is what I'm being told. And then Riley Pettichon, the linebacker out of the Dallas-Fort Worth area, is another of the 2 of the 4 have had their stripes removed. So we will likely see Pettichon and Sanchez, both of whom Texas wanted in recruiting. Even though Texas landed number 1 class, both of those guys Texas wanted, they will be playing some, at least for the Buckeyes, on August 30th.
Well, let's jump back over to the Longhorns, fellas. We got some super chats this morning. We got a pair of super chats about Michael Taft. So I'm going to group those together here and let y'all answer those. The first one from Frantic Longhorn. And Frantic the Longhorn, thank you, says, I'm no defensive backs coach, but does Taft have the speed to play nickel? And then the other one from Burt Reynolds Jr. says, I read elsewhere that Taft getting looks at star. Does this mean cornerback play may not be as good this year? Hence the need for Gilbo on the outside. Your thoughts?
I don't think it has anything to do with cornerback play. I think it's a way. I know it's a way for them to potentially get Derek Williams and Jelani McDonald on the field simultaneously. I mean, look, Derek Williams, I'm hearing, is really doing well on his return. And you got to remember, Derek Williams was the starter ahead of Andrew Makuba last year, who was a second-round pick. And he was a starter ahead of Jelani McDonald himself. Okay? So Derek Williams is highly, highly thought of within the building. I think it's an opportunity for them to get their top 5 defensive backs on the field. Is Michael Taft too slow to play nickel? I think that is a fair question, but I will say this. He's not if they're playing zone. First of all, I would decidedly say that. And he's not if they're able to play a safety over the top. And those two things might be worth thinking about and hearing, I guess is the best way to put it, when you think of Michael Taft and how they might use him at nickel. CJ Vogel reported that Taft, by the way, was in a green jersey at practice on Tuesday, but he was practicing. So that just means he's not going to have any contact, but he's just getting over something. He's not actually hurt seriously. So Michael Taft at nickel is more indicative to me of wanting to get McDonald and Williams on the field at the same time too.
Yeah, and I think some of this stuff will be matchup dependent. Who you're playing, what does that slot receiver look like for a team who would potentially be covering in those situations? So I think Texas is taking a look, as we kind of said, at what everything can potentially look like, and a lot of these things will be matchup dependent.
Yeah, a lot of people saying Jalen Gilbo's getting a run for his money at corner from Kobe Black. Even though Gilbo is the returner. And you got to remember, Texas put him in front of the media for a reason on last week. So I know people want to say, oh, well, Kobe Black's coming on. That gotcha. I hear you. Manny Muhammad's got one side locked down. I think Jalen Gilbo right now is the leader at the other corner, but we will see. I will say that they have the option, and always will have the option, to push Gilbo back to nickel if they need to as well. I don't think they feel they have to do that, and not because of Michael Taft, but because of Grayson Littleton. I mean, Grayson Littleton is seen as a guy that's going to contribute this year.
Yeah, in
the secondary. I'm not just talking about being a special teams warrior and getting 5 snaps a game in the secondary when it's, the score is out of hand against UTSA, or if it's UTSA or Sam Houston or whoever. Grayson Littleton's going to play this year. That's what I'm hearing.
Before we get to our next super chat, Bobby, I'm going to let you tell everyone today about Tecovas.
Yeah, absolutely. Anywhere worth going is worth going in good boots. Born in Texas in 2015, Tecovas are handcrafted with every stitch on point. Tecovas boots are made for a good time and a long time. I love the fact that they're already broken in for comfort right out of the box. And Tecovas makes it easy for anyone to find their favorite boot with all kinds of sizes and styles. Tecovas are simply the best boot around. I really like that they can either be daily boots or you can feel dressed up with them. Right now, get 10% off at tecovas.com/Texas football when you sign up for email and text. You have to sign up for email and text again to get this discount. That's 10% off at tecovas.com/Texas football. With Tecovas Best in the West guarantee, you'll also get free returns and exchanges for 30 days. So I know some people don't like to shop online, but with that exchange program, it's really good. Tecovas.com/Texas football. See site for details. Tecovas, point your toes west.
Thank you for that, Bobby. And we're going to jump right back into super chats this morning. We got some more here. This one from Clifton Hines, and we appreciate you, Clifton. He says, who's the vocal leader on the offensive line? Is Hudson taking that role? Looking for that veteran leadership like Jake Majors for this year. Is DJ that guy?
It's Cole Hudson and Trevor Goosby. Those are your two leaders on the offensive line. Center always needs to be a leader on the offensive line, and Cole Hudson is taking on that role, and I think Trevor Goosby has a big role as well in the leadership. I think those are your two leaders on, and that's not a slide on anybody else. Those are your two leaders on this offensive line. That's pretty clear.
Campbell's more the enforcer type.
Yeah.
He and NATO are more in that role than they are vocal leaders. Hudson is definitely the guy, and I think this is important, that got everyone together for the preseason workouts in spring and summer. He's kind of the guy that leads, I'm told, that leads the group chat of the offensive line. So if you think about it that way, he's obviously going to be the guy trying to get everyone together and doing things the right way on the field too.
And by the way, quite sure Coach Flood sat down with Cole Hudson and said, this is one part of your job.
Yes.
And by the way, Cole Hudson knew that already. He started as a freshman. He's watched Jake Majors lead as a center for 3 seasons at Texas. By the way, I say this about Cole Hudson all the time. When I went to Frisco High, prior to his senior season, he's one of the rare guys I've ever talked to that voluntarily said, I want to play center. That's just not and I wasn't sure if it would ever happen for him at Texas, obviously, but he was one of the few guys that was just having a conversation about recruiting. And I just said, hey man, positionally, do you just want to play guard? Would you ever have any interest in playing center? He said, oh, I want to play center. You just haven't heard that many times over the years, unless it's a guy that's always played center.
Well, we were talking about offensive line leadership. Major Alexander has a question about leadership as well, but from Arch. And thank you, Major. He says, what's the deal with Arch holding extra practices and some on the team not taking to his direct leadership style?
I don't know what to say to that. I mean, I was told that he had, and Sark said it, had the entire offense out there. You know, I can't help if there's 1 or 2 guys that aren't. You know, and who those people are shall remain nameless. We're not going to sit here and talk about that, but I don't think it's an issue. I think it's actually a very, very big positive. Like I said, it's a way to separate the wheat from the chaff. And what I mean are, you know, look, guys don't want to put in the extra work. Who's that up to?
We're also in clickbait season. Beware.
Yeah.
And our next super chat this morning from Austin Davison. Thank you, Austin. He says, could y'all talk about how good the development has been without the new facilities and how much you think it's going to get better with them and maybe what kind of technology is going to be added?
It's actually a good question, but I don't think it's affected anything at all. I think Texas has top-notch everything. They just moved into the new top-notch everything. I'm actually jealous that college athletes have cryotherapy at their daily disposal for free. My gosh. Like I would be in there every morning to start my day. It's amazing. But no, I think they have. Oh, is anybody ever? Cryotherapy is like one of the best things of all time. Like after I got hit by a car cycling when I lived in Florida, I did cryotherapy like every morning for like 2 straight months when insurance paid for it. Like my body and nothing. I felt the best I've ever felt with that. So anybody out there listening, that's cryotherapy is amazing. Can
I stop the conversation?
Yeah.
I would love to be the rat that runs around the hamster, or the hamster that runs around the hamster wheel in your brain.
Yeah.
How you went to cryotherapy. I mean, I'm sorry, Jerry.
Well, they have the best of these kids have the best of everything in these major universities. I mean, the cold plunge, and Marcus Myers is talking about this. You know, the cryo, you can go do these things on a daily basis. Like they have the best of everything. Torrey Beckton has the best of everything at his disposal at Texas. Now he just does it with new redone facilities, but nothing's changed in the weight room or the facilities around it. It's the locker room was the change at Texas. But it'll only, yes, John Burroughs, a cryotherapy sponsor would be great. I will use that. But
I want to say this about technology, if you don't mind. So I was out, I don't know if everybody knows this or not, but there was a college football personnel and recruiting symposium and conference held this week in Nashville. I went out to it to go see what was going on. More.
Ah,
Uh-oh.
uh-oh.
It's me and you again.
Bobby quit on the route, man. He looks like Terry Bussey. Geez, stop quitting. Stop quitting on the route, Bobby.
Am I here again or not?
You're back.
Finish the slot fade. Hurry up. Let's go.
Okay, sorry. What I was saying, I was at this National College Football Recruiting Symposium, had more than 1,000 people there this week. Okay. When I tell you that the convention hall, or really the hotel halls, were filled with software developers talking about recruiting, general manager type stuff with rev share and rev cap, market cap software. It was all over the place. I'm sure things like that are happening in the Torrey Becton world as well. And I'm just trying to get that across to y'all. There is a lot of software going on out there that people are trying to get people better. There's one that I know that Texas is using called Answers. That's an in-game play situation. I mean, there's a lot of stuff.
All right, our next super chat this morning from, if I can find it here, Brandon Huey. Thank you, Brandon. Over under 350 yards rushing for Arch. Brandon says he hopes it's under.
That's got to be net, right? So
yeah,
including sacks.
I hope it's over because that means Texas played 16 or 17 games.
Oh,
good.
Probably a good choice.
If it's that in 12 games, probably too much quarterback pressure on the quarterback because it's not going to be designed runs.
I don't know. I mean, there could be. Look, I could see a couple games where he popped off the 67-yarder against 67 yards against UTSA. He does something like that a couple times this year, and he's halfway there, basically.
Yeah. Huh?
Never know. I mean, that's one thing Jalen Gilbo said. I mean, Arch has got real wheels.
Yeah.
Like he can run.
Yeah. And you do have UTSA and Sam Houston back to back.
Yeah. San Jose State back to back to back.
Yeah.
OG Slingblade with Super Chat. It says, can we get a Sark predicated counter like Blake's day since mute counter this year? It's got to be his favorite word. Hook 'em.
What would that be? What would be the Sark counter?
I don't know. Number of haircuts he gets, because he must get a haircut every week. His hair never grows.
He doesn't have a rotating shoe game like PJ Tucker, so it couldn't be that.
He's got a pretty good shoe game though.
He has a shoe game, but like PJ Tucker, like wear two different styles. Oh. You know, he doesn't go to that. Like PJ Tucker has like 100,000 pairs of shoes. I don't think Sark is quite like that.
Sark's got a vest game, Jerry.
Nah.
He's got a vest. I mean, he always wears a vest, it feels like.
Yep.
He's got a vest game.
And then we have a super chat this morning from MP Houston. Thank you, MP. And he says, guys, regarding a question from yesterday, Aggies were last ranked in 1957 under Bear Bryant, who left for Bama later that same year. DKR started at UT that same year. 1957 was the most impactful year for college football.
Yeah, so that's the last time A&M was ranked number 1 in a poll, I think is what he's getting at.
Yeah.
So we got to see how many days. Somebody put the days. Was it 27,000 days? So since A&M's been ranked number 1, something like that. It's in the 20,000s.
If you were an Aggie fan, wouldn't at some point you just cry uncle and give up? I mean, at some point, you think you're on the precipice with Johnny Manziel, and then it all goes to you know what. You recruit Kyler Murray. He's a legacy, ends up being the number 1 overall pick in the draft, and you can't keep him on campus.
Lost 2 NFL quarterbacks to transfer in the same offseason.
Yeah. Just ask.
That's hard to do.
All right, Damon here with the super chat says, good morning. 2027 5-star running back Myson Johnson Cook just transferred to my hometown. Could Could Texas make a run at him with a few top players coming off the books? Hillman Cooper would give us 2 explosive backs.
He's not a state of Texas kid. I think he's originally from – he may be originally from that area, maybe lived in Chicago. I'm not sure I know the complete timeline for Bison Johnson Cook. For those that don't know, 5-star running back / athlete, 6'2", 220-ish, runs 10'4", 10'5", great athlete. Was at DeSoto for 1 year. He's at East St. Louis now this season, but not really a guy with Texas ties. That would just have to 24. There you go. Thank you, Frantic Longhorn. That would just have to be a national recruitment for Texas, even though he played a year in DeSoto. He's not a Texas kid.
There's a couple of Texas guys in 27 that are good I think that are from the state of Texas that Texas will likely look at heavily. Another one that they're looking at, I know, is a kid out of Chattanooga, at Chattanooga Baylor High School. He's maybe the best in the country too. Yeah.
Somebody asked about 27 recruit John Meredith. I believe Euless. He's top 2 corner in the country, and Texas will fight it out to signing day with him or whenever he makes a decision. That will be a fight all the way to December. He's a legitimate 5-star corner in the state of Texas.
And Frantic Longhorn with Super Chat has the answer to your question, Jerry. He says it's 24,820 days.
Whew. It's longer than I've been alive.
It's a long time.
I want to put that out there. I mean, that's a long time.
Yeah. It's a long time.
I mean, Hitler invaded Poland in 1939.
Man. You would think eventually at one season you just get over the hump, right? You eventually think it happens. Like, look, and even though it's different, and Georgia's been a winning program, there were times when Georgia fans wondered if they were ever going to get back, right? Especially during the Mark Richt years, they kept losing the key games, right? You think eventually somebody's going to, you have a magical season. That's hard to do if you're a major university. You have a lot of players in your state. You're in a great conference now, have been for 12. That's hard to, think about that. It never happens. You never just have one magical season that stay healthy, ball bounces your way. I don't know, man. There's been it'll be interesting to see in the future if they ever get over that hump.
And Frantic Longhorn with another super chat says he didn't count leap years, so you can add a few more days to that as well. Ian Bates with the super chat. Thank you, Ian. He says thoughts on Ohio State this year. Do you think we should be worried?
Well, obviously.
Yeah.
Ohio State's favored in that game.
Yeah.
Has
the line moved at all, Blake?
No, I've been watching it every day, actually, for movement. 2.5 is what it is still at.
Yeah, so basically they say it's a pick'em game on even ground or neutral field, but a 2.5 point favorite for Ohio State. So, yeah, Texas should be worried. But I love this quote that somebody wrote on our ontexasfootball.com message board. If 9-3 is the goal, you're not really worried about the Ohio State game.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe you are, maybe you aren't, right? But if 12-0 is the goal, then you're worried about everything. And I think that is the goal for this Texas team, in my opinion, frankly, is to win every single game. And I'm not saying they'll do that. I'm not predicting that. I'll give you a hint. But look, yeah, they should be worried about Ohio State. Ohio State's got a lot of good football players on it.
Yes.
A lot of good football players. And not unlike Texas, they have some playmakers that can disrupt and change games. That's what makes them Ohio State. It's not just that they have, X amount of NFL players. They have X amount of NFL players, and then they got a guy named Jeremiah Smith that is a dude. Caleb Downs on defense can make some game-changing plays. They've got other guys that, anyways, long story short for me, frankly, is, they should be worried about Ohio State. Good football team. We'll see whether Ryan Day or Steve Sarkisian has his team most ready going into Columbus.
Are you allowed to like change your uniform and wear Michigan uniforms? In
Like, just to make Ohio State scared. Yeah, to make them tense up a little bit.
You have to wear your own uniform. Can it still be Texas on the screen, but you like wear Michigan uniform?
Again, I'd love to be on that hamster wheel inside Jerry Hamilton's head.
It seems like a good plan to me. What if you just walked out for warm-ups in Michigan uniform and then came out in your Texas uniform when the game starts?
You know what everyone needs to come out in, Jerry? That's Goodr's.
Yeah,
so tell us about
that. Way to go, Blake. That was awesome, Blake. Good job.
These are a little crazy. Yes, why Goodr's? Well, there's a million reasons. They're stylish sunnies starting only $25 a pair, 1 year free warranty. You don't need it. 30-day free returns. I have to read it. It's on the read. They're lightweight and comfortable, 100% polarized, no slip, no bounce, CCC. From vibrant colors to sleek styles, there's a pair of Goodrs for every personality out there in the wide world. Designed for both everyday wear and active individuals that love to run, hike, bike, and much, much more. So that leads me to, when do you wear your Goodr sunnies? I'd say I'm going to lead with this. Driving in the Texas heat in a car for 4 hours from Houston to Austin. The Goodrs are on every time I do it. On a run, playing pickleball, on a hike, riding a bike, going to the beach. A lot of people have been doing that this summer, playing tennis. DKR in September. Probably should have Goodrs on for that because they're so affordable. You don't have to worry about losing or breaking them. You can have a pair for every single occasion. If you need a new pair of sunnies, Goodr is giving On Texas football listeners free shipping. You can go to Goodr.com/OnTexas and use code OnTexas for free shipping. Goodr offers a 30-day money-back guarantee. I have to read it, and 1,000% satisfaction because I get part of this read. Again, that's Goodr.com/OnTexas and use OnTexas for free shipping. And you know what else, Goodrs? If you get mad during a Texas game, you can throw these bad boys on the floor, and they are not going to break. You can put them right back on when the touchdown scored.
Or it'll only cost $25 to do so.
Or it only costs $25.
You're not. Don't throw them at your TV, though.
If you throw these at your TV, it will not break the screen, and you won't end up on the show ridiculousness.
All right, let's see here. We got another super chat. This one from Justin Yarbrough. Thank you, Justin. Appreciate that. And Justin says, I asked the guys last night about this question, but want y'all's thoughts. What is the worst practice y'all have seen? And what was the best?
Oof. Worst.
It had to be a John Makovic practice, man. He had some stinker practices. I know that's going way back for y'all. Or, I mean, there's a couple of Charlie Strong practices that I remember where they literally, the ball must have hit the ground 30 times.
I was just say normally it's when receivers have the drops one day because that's what you see a lot of. It's just like, or quarterbacks are inaccurate.
Highly inaccurate, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good question. There's one that's sticking out with John Makovic where two of the receivers that were big names I don't want to mention their names publicly, but they just had really kind of lazy, bad practices. And Makovic was just, he was a weird guy when he was mad. And I say weird, but he was just different than everybody. Most coaches get real gruff and yell, and Makovic, he would kind of squawk a little bit differently. And like, he was almost like a tea kettle whose top wanted to blow, but he wouldn't let it blow, if that makes sense. Whereas all the other guys, they would let, and I think two of the receivers that day were frustrating him so bad that it frustrated his entire practice. That's what I remember.
I think Bobby can maybe back me up on this. My worst practice experience in my years doing this was in Belglade, Florida. The talent was unbelievable. but the bugs were massive that were flying around. And there's a smell. It must be the sugarcane plant that if the wind is coming out of a certain direction, it smelled so bad and the bugs were so big. The only thing that saved me was watching future NFL guys like Kelvin Benjamin running around. If there hadn't been enough future like NFL guys there, that would have been like my worst day in this business ever.
Jerry remembers the mosquitoes.
The bugs were big and made weird noises, man. It was.
You were an odd duck. This is an odd duck day for you, dude.
I'm just telling you, man.
I think people love it, but
like the first one that flew like in front of my face, I was like, "Was that a bird?" Like, like that thing was huge. And what the coach? Oh no, it's like that every day here. I was like, that was my first time I went out there. I've been out there since.
Okay. So we're going to get to some other questions this morning. Texas Jasper, can y'all address where our big explosive game-changing plays will come from on offense? I'm convinced the defense will definitely make lots of game-changing plays, but not the offense. Please help my anxiety and Hoogle.
Good question. I think that they're searching for a playmaker right now. Texas Jasper. I think that's what they lost in Jaden Blue, right? That's what they lost in Matthew Golden near the end of the season. Even Isaiah Bond early in the season. They lost their big play guys. Now, Ryan Wingo made some big downfield plays, had a big reverse. He can do that. But they've got that's one of the pieces of this reboot here at Texas, for lack of a better term, is they've got to find new guys that can go do it. I think that if I were to guess right now, I would go Ryan Wingo heavily. I'd go Arch Manning. I'd go Trey Wisner. But is Wisner got the suddenness of a Jaden Blue? No, he doesn't. So, I don't know where the big plays are going to come from. Hopefully it's some downfield stuff from guys like Emmett Mosley. I do believe, Jerry, do you think this year is going to be more by committee in that regard? Because that's kind of my sense.
I think it's being underrated, the speed of the Texas offense, especially at wide receiver. Sark said as much Tuesday on Emmett Mosley. DeAndre Moore gets behind a lot of people. I think there's different ways to be that guy. Do you just have pure go-get-it speed, or do you have quality speed, but a great route runner, a double move route runner, can really sell routes? I think there's a part of me that's like, okay, well, DeAndre Moore ran in 10.8 as a junior in high school, didn't run his senior year. So what was he run? 10 in the high 10.6s, 10.7? Okay, well, that guy, and plus you take his ability, which is underrated speed, and his ability to be a great route runner, he gets behind a lot of people. I think you're going to see Emmett Mosley get behind people. So I'm not as worried about that at this point. Maybe I'm wrong and it looks different in games, but I think Texas has 3 starting wide receivers that can all get down the field on people, on opponents. So I'm not really as worried about that. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Our next, our next question this morning is going to come from, let's see here, Rhett. Rhett says that the sheer talent on offense, the big reason for Caldwell. Essentially, Sark comes to the conclusion we need an operator to distribute the ball and not turn it over.
I think it goes to what Bobby said earlier in the show. If Arch he had to leave the Ohio State game for 2 or 3 series, do you want to bring in somebody who's never taken real snaps, or do you want to bring in somebody who's started a lot of college football games, even if it's on the G5 level? That guy's played a lot of college football games in his life. He's attempted a lot of passes. He's played under duress a lot. I think Bobby kind of nailed this one with his thoughts earlier in the show on it. And I just don't think that's going to be an Ohio State game. I think it's going to be if there's any games where Arch has to leave for extended period of time, the game's not in control, like a San Jose State, a UTEP, a Sam Houston State, if Texas is up big in the fourth quarter, I think that's a totally different scenario.
Okay, let's see here. Did we lose Bobby? We lost Bobby. All right. Let's take a recruiting question for you, Jerry, from Ryan Nelson. Vosick or Krell as a prospect, who did you prefer?
Well, Vosick's a 3-down player. Krell is more of the designated pass rush specialist leaving high school. He's got to add to his frame. I think Vosick was a bigger guy. Vosick really played the run. Well, look, his father played at Texas as a D-line coach at Westlake, does a great job over there. That staff defensive at Westlake does a great job. Salazar, Vosick, all those guys, they do a great job. So I think Colton Vosick came out of high school. He's a bigger frame guy. Was a stronger kid coming out of high school, weight room strong, and played the run really well. So I think they're it's hard to compare those guys for me. I think a comparison would be a Jake Krell versus Tassilia Kana coming out of high school. And I think Krell's a much higher level pass rush prospect.
Welcome back, Bobby. All right. Another recruiting question from LL. Jerry, which flip is more possible, Winfield or Gravel?
Ooh.
I'm going to give this simple answer. The guy who shows up on campus this year. Like, that's the truth, though, right? Like, who shows up this year in Austin? I think a lot how the USC season goes is going to be their whole recruiting class. If Lincoln Riley has a kind of the rocky water season, it's going to be hard for them to keep all those guys. I mean, they have 31 guys committed.
Yeah.
And I know the NIL deals are great, but if it gets rocky under Lincoln there this year, the birds start chirping. See what happens.
He can't go. I mean, he can't go 9-3. I mean, he's going to go 9-3 in his fourth year. I mean, they didn't pay him what they're paying him to go to not even get to 10 wins in a season. I mean, I do think that they'll be better this year. And I will say this, they're very similarly situated to me to LSU, Jerry. And the reason why is both of them finally have real defensive coordinators in their second year. So DeAnton Lynn is the guy at USC who came over from UCLA, had a really good UCLA defense. He took over for Alex Grinch last year. Now he's in his second year. Blake Baker down at LSU took over a year ago in the Bayou. Now he's in his second year. I think both of those guys give their teams a chance in their second year as coordinators for fourth-year head coaches.
And then Brian Jones says, what is a true freshman getting early playing time do for the future of recruiting 4- or 5-star athletes?
I think it's one of the things that Sark really has going for him in future recruiting classes. Kelvin Banks, look, that was out of necessity, but Kelvin Banks, because he played for Kenny Harrison at Summer Creek, lifetime Longhorn Kenny Harrison, really good offensive guy, did a great job getting Kelvin prepared and pass pro for major college football. Kelvin was way ahead in that regard. But Kelvin Banks coming as a 5-star, starting 3 years, winning awards, going in the first round. Colin Simmons comes in. He wins the first Texas player to win the Sean Alexander National Freshman of the Year. I mean, guys are coming. Manny Muhammad ends up starting some games his freshman year. Guys are coming in, and it's not always the case, right? As you program build, some guys have to have a little more patience. But, if your 5 stars hit, that's number one. If you go back and look at Nick Saban at Alabama, his 5-star hit rate that went on to be really good players in NFL draft picks was probably the highest ever in college football, or was the highest ever in college football. I think Sark is doing a lot of good things there. DJ Campbell, 5-star prospects going into year 3 as a starting football player. Where he's going to go into draft, we'll find out. But then you have what really makes it is a Nick Brooks, comes in from Grayson, and he's already making waves, and you're going to see him on the field this year. A Grayson Littleton comes in from a school in an area that Texas has never recruited, Wiregrass Ranch in Wesley Chapel, which is a little north of Tampa. That kid's coming in and taking first-team reps right now, and not saying he's going to start, but he's getting some reps, and he's going to play a lot. So when guys from Cedric Baxter started the first game of his college career as a 5-star running back from Orlando, Florida, this is where recruiting really starts to snowball for you, even in the NIL era. Guys that come in from different areas, national kids that come into your university and play a lot, start early, end up being draft picks. Your guys from in-state win awards, right? They go on to be first-round draft picks. I think from a recruiting standpoint, Sark has everything going for him you can, because these kids' number one goal is still to be an NFL football player. Wherever they go, that's the goal. And if you're seen as one of those places, then you're in the catbird seat in recruiting. Period.
I completely agree. You get the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
I mean, that's so much. Look, there's a lot of people out there who can say, hey, we're going to pay you this much money, et cetera. You have to have the proof. And that's one of the things that Steve Sarkisian fought for his first 2 years when he was recruiting. So I feel like, to Jerry's point, I feel strongly that Texas and Steve Sarkisian have that in their bag right now.
Hey, we have a good recruiting question. Can I bring it up real quick, Blake?
Yeah, go ahead.
Any current 4-star commitments that can potentially get that 5th star this season, senior? I do. I think Richard Wesley, I think somebody may still have him a 5, but because he reclassed, I think he's generally ranked 35 to 40. After seeing him in person, kind of getting to know Trey Lewis, who he trains with, I think that guy does a great job, by the way, and so great job. Multiple NFL guys still work with him that worked with him in high school. That's a telling sign for guys like that. I think Richard Wesley's poised to make that small bump. He doesn't need a big bump, a small bump. For whatever reason, some people dropped Derek Cooper a little bit. I expect him to go out and crush it this year. I think Derek Cooper has a chance to do that very same thing. Jermaine Bishop, even though he's still, I think, technically in the industry rankings, he may still be a 5 in some spots, but he moved down in a ranking. I think he has a chance. I mean, wake me up when that guy doesn't look amazing on Friday nights. Those are, and John Turntine should, but people are going to have their, and James Johnson. John Turntine, it's just, people are going to square peg round hole, a great player. Those are your guys that I think have the best chance to move up, like into that territory.
Bobby, tell us about Vaughn Lane one last time, please, sir.
Yeah, absolutely. We can do that. This fall, the biggest games and events are calling, and Vaughn Lane is the best way to get there. Skip the airport stress. Forget the long, exhausting drive. Instead, step aboard a Vaughn Lane motor coach where every seat is first class. Just 22 oversized leather seats with 140-degree recline leg rests and personal space you won't find anywhere else. Your onboard attendant serves complimentary snacks, beverages, and on select trips, full meals. So you can arrive refreshed and ready for kickoff, the concert, or the race. Booking is now open for October travel. Lock in your seat for Texas OU in Dallas, F1 and ACL in Austin, or big football weekends in Houston, Nashville, Dallas, Fort Worth. You got it. Vaughn Lane connects Austin, Dallas, Houston, Fort Worth, San Antonio, Nashville, Atlanta, Memphis, and now new routes, including Knoxville, the Woodlands, and Plano. Reserve your ride today at vaughnlane.com. Use promo code OTF25 to save $20 off your first trip. Vaughn Lane, a private jet on wheels. Again, your motor coach for this big games and events this fall.
All right. So we got a super chat from Jeff Carey. Has anyone been to Brisket, Texas? Supposedly the best barbecue. Any recruit?
That should be a name of a little town. Who wants to do that in Texas?
I've never been to it.
Is that actually a place? I don't know if that's.
I'm looking that up right now.
Jeff
has no.
Jeff may be having some fun with us.
Yeah, no Brisket, Texas listed by Google.
Can you Blake? That seems like a good little town in your area to woods like Comanche, Texas, like Brisket, Texas nearby.
Is Brisket near Comanche?
I have not heard of a Brisket, Texas in my area, unfortunately. I wish there was a good barbecue place around here, but
there's not.
No, don't get me
You have
started.
to go to Stephenville.
Not even there here lately.
Ooh.
Wow.
Blake's talking some smack now.
I am. It's gone downhill. We've gone downhill big time. All right, we got time for just another question or two. And John, 007, what do you think Texas needs to accomplish this year to be considered a successful season?
Well, that's a question for the chat too, because this is actually a really good question. Because I think I'm going to be different from the chat. It's almost like college basketball. You keep getting the Final Fours, and eventually you're going to knock down the door. So to me, I have to say getting back to the semifinals game, because eventually if you get to enough Final Fours, you're going to knock down the door and get to play for it all. I think for some people it's win the semifinal game, which I get.
Just get to the playoffs. You got a first-year starting quarterback. I know his last name's Manning. I know you've had 2 back-to-back college football playoff runs in the semifinals. But the only way it would be disappointing to me is if they didn't make the playoffs at all. I think that's my level. Now, ask me in 2026 what I think. If this roster stays together, we'll have a different conversation.
A lot of people saying,
I know what people want. And I don't blame them. That's what I want too. But it's not going to be.
It's hard.
Yeah. You got to get through, unscathed with injury, and the ball's got to bounce right. It's tough.
Jesse Mendiola, that's a good one.
SEC champs.
Yeah.
That would be taking a next step in a program to be the SEC champs. Obviously, if you're the SEC champ, you're in the college football playoff. You're probably going to be in the bye situation. You would be in the bye situation at that point. But that's not a bad one either, because a lot would come with being the SEC champion.
All right, guys. So that's going to do it for today's episode of Coffee and Football presented by Vaughn Lane. I want to thank them along with Tecovas and Goodr. Bobby, what's later today?
Later today, we've got a couple different pieces coming out for you guys. We also have the winning drive this afternoon. Rod Babers, Bob Shipley, CJ Vogel will be on here talking to you guys. Practice is going on right now. So Longhorns just getting onto the practice field. We will hopefully have some comments and news and notes from that. We also get the players, so there will be player availability post-practice. They usually divulge some news as well during that. So we'll be back with that news and notes. Make sure you check out ontexasfootball.com right now. You guys have asked and been so kind and asked and gracious and asked us how you can support the show and what we do. A subscription to ontexasfootball.com really helps us out. So please, if you want to be part of the community and subscribe and post and read about the team all day long, make sure you check out ontexasfootball.com. Use promo code OTFOG and get a $20 discount for 1 year. So it's only $39.95. That's like $3.50 a month, less than the price of a Starbucks coffee. Please join us over at ontexasfootball.com.
And if with your subscription, you'll look like Colin Simmons physically in 2 months. I mean, look at me; it just defines you.
You'll be off. You'll be in cryotherapy.
Yes,
you'll be taking cryotherapy. What else will you be doing, Jerry?
Yeah,
a little bit of everything. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button as well. Ring the bell so you're notified anytime we go live, post content, whatever it may be. In between that and the website over at ontexasfootball.com, we got you covered around the clock. We will be back same time, same place tomorrow. Hope you all have an outstanding day today. So for Bobby Burton and Jerry Hamilton, I'm Blake Monroe, and we'll see